Shalom and good day, everyone. I know y'all have been waiting for this. What is the ultimate mystery? And you have been waiting for that handout. So, as I gave my word unto you, you will have the handout today. I did add a few things to it. Keep in mind, it's still an ongoing work. So, I may have to add some other things to it. But for the most important thing, you have the ultimate mystery in it. Okay? So the title of this video today is The Origins of Shavuot, known as Pentecost in the Greek tongue, and Sukkot, which is the Feast of Tabernacles, and the significance of Sivan the 15th, and the daily sacrifice. Part 5, Mystery of 49 and 50. Take this time to pause because, this title is saying a lot. In this video, we can begin to get the history of how Shavuot began, because I don't know if many have paid attention to the history that is listed in the book of Jubilees, and then the other books is going to align to the book of Jubilees as well. You need to ask yourself, where did it all begin, and why are we keeping Shavuot, and what is Shavuot telling us? Okay. Also, as you're studying about Shavuot, it's going to lead you to the origins of why we keep the Feast of Tabernacles known as Sukkot. Yeah, you're going to see how they relate to each other. One led to another. Okay. And then from there, we're going to look at the significance. Like, why do we see the Essenes keeping Shavuot, known as the feast of the first fruits of the harvest or of the grains? Why were they keeping it on Sivan the 15th when you get into the Dead Sea Scrolls? Okay. Because Josephus talk about them, and he reveals something about them that many may not be aware. And once you get that information, you begin to understand why they was keeping it on Sivan the 15th. And then the last is the daily sacrifice. You're going to see why the Father commanded the children of Israel to offer him a daily sacrifice that was offered in the morning and in the evening. So you're going to have to read Torah, Leviticus chapter 23. That's where you can start there, but you're going to have to read Torah. And then when you go to Jubilees, your mouth is going to drop, because it's going to relate to the foundation, to the gospel, and to the prophets and many other sacred writings. So let's begin. We first want to give honors to our Father in heaven, Yahuwah, for he is the Most High. He is the God above all gods, and he is the Lord above all lords. He is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who has sent his only begotten Son to redeem us back unto him. And that Son is Yahusha HaMashiach. For he is the second Adam. He is the door of the sheep, known as the left. He is the fountain of the living waters, and the eye / light of the body, known as the ayin. And last, we give our honors to our mother. Yes, we have a mother. What's done in heaven is done in earth. Just as the Father made, just like our Father in heaven made our parents, who are father and mother, the same we have in heaven. We have a Father and we have a mother. And our mother is wisdom. And the Messiah says that wisdom shall be justified by her children, that meaning that she's not made in vain. She shall birth, or she shall bring forth the children of the light, who are what? Adam, the Son of God. Mysteries that I speak unto you. So let us begin. So I will be sharing some copyright material with you today. Okay. Also attached to this video, make sure you watch the playlist if this is your first time to come across this subject or this topic dealing with the mystery of Shavuot that they say in the Greek tongue, Pentecost. I highly recommend that you look at the playlist because it is a twofold message here. The first part deal with dates, okay? Dates. And it's going to give you understanding what you're going to see in the second fold message. Because the second fold message is going to deal with heavenly things, spiritual things. Okay? So make sure you check that out. So here's the document that everybody been waiting for. Okay? We did a little foundation work. We will continue that foundation work in this video as we get into many mysteries, but that's going to lead to the ultimate mystery. Okay? Now there's some things I do want to correct myself in the past videos that I made in this playlist. First, I want to say when you look at the Jewish format, which I need to click on this document because I do need to make a correction. When you look at the Jewish format of how they calculate to Pentecost, I did say in that video that they may not go by the sheep weight offering, but if they're keeping the same date, more than likely they are. Okay. However, there are some Israelites that are going by the rule that you have to start counting from the first Sabbath that follow after the Passover day. So many Israelites regard the Sabbath as the Saturday day or Saturday. So that's how they will begin their count, and you will have some variation because, like I said in the videos before, Passover will rotate on the heathen's calendar, meaning that it will not always be on the same day of their week. It can be on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It can be on any one of those days. So you're going to have some variation for those who are using Saturnine day or Saturday as your Sabbath when you're trying to get your date for Pentecost. So you're going to have some great variation from year to year. Okay. So the Jewish may not be following that method, but it may be some Israelites that are following that method. Okay, so like I said, it's you'd be surprised how many methods or formulas people have for figuring out when is Shavuot, Pentecost. Okay, so I had to take you back to this document because I realized I forgot to add the Essenes date to the chart that we talked about. So I do want to do that right before your eyes so you can see how I got that number. It is a simple math calculation. However, we are going to use the Rosetta Stone calculator. Okay, so that way we can confirm some things. There we go. And then we need to add 2 rows in this column. Okay, so most of us are maybe familiar about the Essenes. If not, most of them relate the Essenes to the Dead Sea Scrolls that they have found in the year 1940s. And a lot of the people who have translated books associate those sacred writings to them or to their community or to that sect. Now, to learn more about them, Josephus give you a detailed description about them, what are their doctrines, what are their beliefs, so you can understand why you are seeing what you're seeing in those translations. However, remember that the Gentiles have gotten those books and they have translated. So I have seen some errors in those books, especially when you're doing the calendar piece, when you're setting up the dates and stuff. There is some calculation errors going on there. Um, However, that does not hide the truth because for those who have been watching and praying, we know about Nat Turner confessions and it has been revealed through his confession. He prophesied something that was written in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, the great battle that is to come. So you definitely want to read Nat Turner confessions and you will see how it relates to the Dead Sea Scrolls writings as well. Excuse me, y'all. Had to clear my voice. Okay, Essenes. So they keep the feast of the first fruits of the grain harvest on Sivan the 15th. So we need to find out what would be the Gregorian date in the year of 130 BC. Okay, this is the time when Hyrcanus was the high priest of Israel, and the Greek ruler at that time was Antiochus the seventh Sides. Okay, so we need to see what that falls on. Now, in this chart above, let me go to the chart above. Then, if they're keeping Sivan, if they're keeping that feast on Sivan the 15th, it would make their sheep weight offering day on Aviv the 26th. And how you get Aviv 26, you just have to count backwards, count 50 days backwards, starting with Sivan the 15th being your 50th day, and you will see you will land on Aviv the 26th as being the first day. Okay, so that's how they got that number. But also keep in mind it's based on the moon having 30 days in this month. Okay, because if you actually fall in the heavens now, you will see the moon month varying from 29 to 30. So this is why you may not always get Sivan the 15th from year to year because of that variation. But during that particular time of the Essenes, that's how they kept Shavuot. Okay. Now let us go to the calculator. So to get the date of the Essenes, what I'm first is going to do is put the date when Antiochus entered Babylonia. Okay, so we know it was around the 25th or 26th of July 136, I mean 130 BC. So I'm just going to put in the 25th. Oh, got the wrong day, y'all. Sorry about that. Let's see. I need to go here. Okay, 25th of July 130 BC. Reason I did that so I know what year of the Hebrew year based on the Jewish. Now this is based on the Jewish Hebrew year. Okay. So now I can convert that date. Okay. So we know the Essenes kept it on the 15th day of Sivan. So it will fall on the Gregorian date on May the 21st in 130 BC on a Sunday. Oh, sorry, y'all. So it was on a Sunday. It was May 21st. I don't know why I have 13 here, but it should be 15. So when you do some math, you compare with Brother Hashur, the difference between um, 13 to 15 is 2. So I would add 2 to 19, you should get 21. And that makes sense why it will fall on the Sunday, because Sunday is 2 days from Friday. Okay, so I don't actually need this line. We'll take this out so we can delete that. And there we have it. So as for proof unto you, as you see, even the Essene date do not fall in the range of the dates that I gave to you, dealing with the time of the Parthians versus um, Antiochus the seventh Sides. Okay. So now that you have that, you can take this time now to pause the screen to look at that information. And to make it easier, the Father's telling me to blow that up because it's just mainly looking at the information for the Essenes. Okay, now we have that out the way. So when you go to the video description box, you will have access now to both Google Documents. Okay. Um. Also, you need to listen to YAHUAH prophetic messages because it does relate to everything that the channel has revealed unto you. Father is still speaking through his prophets and prophetess today, giving you instructions, letting you know what is going on. Okay? All right. So we will be coming back to this chart and you'll see why, because it's very important now that we know what 49 and 50 mean and what they represent as we tap into the mysteries. Okay? Some scriptures you're going to have to read for homework for this lesson here is Exodus chapter 19 to 24, and then from 24 to 32. That is dealing from the time when the children of Israel entered to Mount Sinai to the time when Moshe went up to Mount Sinai for 40 daylights and 40 nights to the time when he come off the mountain. Okay. Also read Leviticus chapter 23. And I also find a link to the Septuagint translation. Okay. And we'll probably read that in another video, but that is something that you can read in your spare time to compare to the King James Version. And then also read John chapter 4, verse 35, because even the Messiah confirmed unto us what month the harvest fall in. So now we are tapping into our Father mind and trying to understand the change. Okay, because it has been confirmed to us in the days of Adam up till the days of Moshe and the children of Israel, they kept the feasts of Shavuot, of the first fruits of the grain, in the third month. So now we need to seek our Father and ask him, why did it change? What does this mean? What is this telling us for our generation? So to set the foundation, I made a chart for y'all because there are some events that took place in the book of Jubilees, the Bible, and the work of Josephus that is going to give us that insight of what the Father is showing unto us. So the three heads we're going to look at are Moshe, Noah, and Abraham. Moshe, Moses, Noah, and Abraham. Okay, we're going to go through that. And then we're going to, if it's permitted in this video, we will be going back and forth to the calendar dealing with the year of 2020 to 2021, because that is the year where we have Shavuot falling on the 28th day, okay, and the Sabbath falling on the 29th day. That would give you a better picture and a better example, okay? But on that calendar, it lists out the events of when the children of Israel arrived to the wilderness of Sinai to the time when Moses was on the mountain for 40 daylights and 40 nights. So we will have to go back and forth to the calendar to get those dates as we are setting the foundation. Okay? Which shall lead to this chart. Okay? Because when you understand the mystery of Shavuot, why did the Father go from 49 in the day of Adon, which is his Jubilee, to the Israelites having 50? And within the 50, we are still honoring or remembering the 49. Why do you think the Father is doing that? What is the ultimate mystery here? Okay, and it relates to one of the greatest prophecies that the Father is telling us that we need to remember and we need to reflect on. So I will explain why I have week 1, that is above Adam, and week 2, that is above the Israelites. Because it's dealing what time period we are in. Okay. So we will go through this chart. I will have to walk you through it step by step, as well as list the resources. So the ultimate mystery here, because the Father, we're going to give that to you because you have been waiting patiently with all the videos that was being made. The ultimate mystery here is going to tell you where you are at in time, according to his time, not according to the Gentiles' time. Remember, they don't count time in the same way the Father count time. He start from what? From the least to the greatest. He don't do like the heathens. Remember, the heathens are following the principalities, Satan and the fallen angels. So Shavuot is going to lead you into what time you are in now. Okay. All right. So starting from the days of Adam, okay, which represented by week 1, we are now, this is why this is in red, we are now in week 2, in day 13 of creation and in day 8 of Adam, which is signified unto us we do not have long, because it's only what, 7 days in a week. And what is 7 days unto Yah? 7,000 years. And Shavuot is going to confirm what I'm saying unto you, because that's a mystery that he's been saying in the beginning, giving us understanding. And the example is and the first example he gave is dealing with the flood. That's the first example. Okay. Hold on for 1 minute, y'all. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. So, and the first example, I'm going to say this again, is given in the flood to confirm what I'm saying unto you, that the same is going to happen again in our generation. So, let us begin. We're going to start with this chart, dealing with looking at the heads, the chiefs. Okay. So when we look at Moses in the book of Jubilees, we have to start with chapter 1. Because remember, as the Gentiles are translating our books, there are some mistranslations. But through the precepts, it can confirm and reveal the truth unto you. So we have to start with chapter 1 of the book of Jubilees, looking at what was spoken unto Moses when he went unto the Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 daylights. Okay, let's blow this up. Remember, all links and everything will be available unto you. Okay, we'll blow this up again because we want nice big letters for those who can see at home. If I decrease it just a little bit. Okay, so what I do here, let me increase on my screen. Okay. So we're in chapter 1 of the book of Genesis. Another name for it that people know it as is Little Genesis, also known as the Apocalypse of Moshe. So only thing we're going to read the first 3 sentences, because we need to clarify something, because even myself, I had misread this verse, thinking that it was saying one thing, but actually was saying another. So let's start. Verse 1. It happened in the first year of the Exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, Come up to me on the mountain, and I will give you two tablets of stone, and of the law, and the commandment which I have written, that that you may teach them. So we're going to pause there. Now, here's the thing we have to look at. It's giving us a date. The date is what? The 3rd month, the 16th day. And we know the place of this is dealing with the wilderness of Sinai. And he's speaking from Mount Sinai, right? Now, here's the thing. I had misread this too, as well as many others. We had originally thought that the date was talking about when they came there, but no, it wasn't. It was talking about the day when the Father was speaking unto Moses, when he told him to come up me to the mountain, and I will give you two tables of stone of the law and the commandment. Where do we see that verse taking place? Well, we see it when we go to the book of Exodus, chapter 24. Okay, and we have to go to verse 16. And before I read verse 16, the Father's reminded me I do need to finish reading out verse 2 and 3, so forgive me. Verse 2, Moshe went up into the mountain of Yahuwah, and the glory of Yahuwah rested on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. He called to Moses on the seventh day out of the middle of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of Yahuwah was like a flame on the top of the mountain. So notice here, he called Moshe on the seventh day out of the middle of the cloud. Okay, on the seventh day. Very important. So when we get to the King James 1611 version in chapter 24, and we read verse, go to my notes, make sure I'm in the right verse first. We need to go to verse 12 first. In verse 12, this is where the Father is speaking unto Moshe. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tablets of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moshe rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of Yahuwah. And he said unto the elders, tarry here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount, and the glory of Yahuwah abode upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. So we're going to pause there. Okay. So it has been confirmed that the 16th is not the day, because I want to take you now to the calendar. When you write these events out, okay, we're going to go to the calendar now. When we go to the calendar, looking at the third month, I have to scroll down for the third month. Now the third one is Sivan, as you see here, Sivan, okay? And we all know that Moshe didn't get to excuse me, y'all, my tongue. Moshe didn't get to Mount Sinai until the 15th day of that month. You want to put that down like a mental note, because 15 is a very special number. You're going to see why, okay? That was the day of day one of their sanctification, and the day when Jethro came to speak with him. Okay, Sivan 15. And as we go to Sivan 16, that is day 2 of their sanctification, and that is the day Jethro is still with Moshe. So the day that the Father come unto them in a cloud to speak unto not only to Moshe, but to the children of Israel, which is day 3, fell on the 17th day of Sivan. Then as you see here, on day 18 is the day when the people enter into the covenant. It is sealed with blood. It is also the day that Moshe built an altar and 12 pillars. Okay. And it is the day when Moshe entered into the mountain after the morning activities. Okay. And he remained in that cloud for 7 days. Okay? And as we read in those verses from Jubilees and the Bible, we learned that the Father didn't speak unto Moses until the 7th day. Okay? The 7th day. And that 7th day it fell on the 24th day of Sivan. That's when the Father began to speak unto him. Take this time now to pause your screen. Okay? Now we're going to go to the work of Josephus because many don't understand what took place in that mountain. People understand that Moses was taken to the heavenly realm and shown divine things and written divine things. I will advise y'all to take your time when y'all reading. Let me get the books for y'all. Again, we go to my notes. When you are reading Exodus chapter 19 to chapter 32, you will even see divine things that taken place not only with Moshe, but with the elders, Aaron and Joshua. Okay? So now I'm going to take you to the work of Josephus to confirm unto you what I'm saying. Okay? So we can go to the book of Antiquities. Book 1, chapter 1, and section 2. And this is the part I want you to really look at. This is how we know these books are written by Moshe himself. For the Father spoken to him directly face to face. No other prophet has he dealt like that. The only prophet that is different from Moshe is Yahusha HaMashiach. But he was with the Father in the beginning, before all things was made. Okay? So in Antiquities, book 1, chapter 1, section 2, it says, Moreover, Moses, after the 7th day was over, begins to talk physiologically and concerning the formation of man, says thus. Okay? So Moshe is giving the history of all these things that we are reading now today, whether it's the Bible, Jubilees, and the sealed book of Moses. Yes, that's a sealed book of Moses. He was given those things by the Father to be written. Okay? Another proof that the Father want me to remind you of is dealing with the second time the second time when he went back to the mountain for 40 daylights and 40 nights. What else did take place? Did he not have the glory of Yahuwah upon him? Where he shone so bright that um they could not what's the word I'm looking here dealing with the light, where they could not bear to see that light that was upon him. And you can read more about that in the gospel. I mean in the new covenant. And it's the book of Corinthians that will elaborate more on that. Okay. So to sum up this part with Moshe, we know that him and the children of Israel did not enter into the wilderness of Sinai until Sivan the 15th. And then Moshe went up to the mountain for the 2 tablets of stone on Sivan the 18th during the daylight phase. And then on the 7th day, Yah spoke to him, and that fell on Sivan the 24th. Okay. Now the next part we're going to go to is Noah. Okay. So we're going to go to Jubilees chapter 6. Okay. Now for homework, you will have to read Jubilees chapter 5, but to save some time, we're going to go straight to chapter 6. So we're going to read, start with verse 1 and get into the part where I had to stop. And you'll see why. Because that part I had to stop is going to take us to Abraham. Okay. So for this video, we're going to read up to that part that deals with Abraham. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So let us begin. Jubilees chapter 6, verse 1. Let me make sure I blow this up so everybody can see this at home. Okay. All right. Verse 1. On the new moon of the third month, he went out of the ark and built an ark. And I'm sorry, and built an altar on that mountain. So Moshe built an altar on, I'm sorry, not Moshe, Noah built an altar on that mountain where the ark rested. Okay. Now, as you are reading these chapters in Jubilee, I want you to pay close attention how many times you see the new moon day and the month that is mentioned, because you're going to see a special, consistent thing taking place, which will help give you understanding why we have the new moon days, especially when you read Numbers 28 and Numbers 29. Okay? You're going to begin to connect some dots here. All right? And Noah made atonement for the earth. Y'all hear that? He made an atonement. Now your ears should be perking up here. And took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth, for everything that have been on it have been destroyed, except those that were in the ark with Noah. He placed the fat of it on the altar, and he took an ox and a goat and a sheep and kids and salt and a turtle dove and the young of a dog, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and poured on it an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine and sprinkled frankincense over everything, and caused a good and pleasing odor to arise, acceptable before Yahuwah. You all hear that? Pay close attention about these sacrifices. Okay? What is atonement? How do you atone for something? It has to be done with blood, y'all. Understand your Torah. Understand your foundation. Do you understand why the Messiah had to do what he did for us? Okay? Verse 4. And if y'all hearing this beat, I don't know what's up with this laptop, but y'all will be done in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. No powers of darkness will come against this word. All right, let's begin. I think I know what the problem is. It's dealing with the headset. Okay. Verse 4. And Yahuwah smelled the good and pleasing odor. Okay, I'm going to take a chance, y'all. I'm going to take my headset off because y'all need to hear this. Okay. And Yahuwah smelled the good and pleasing odor. And he made a covenant with Noah that there should not be any more floods to destroy the earth. That all the days of the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. Pay close attention. See what's included in the covenant that our Father made with Noah and his sons, because we are connected to this covenant too. It got passed down. from generation to generation. But let us keep reading. It goes on to say, increase and multiply on the earth and become many and be a blessing on it. I will inspire the fear of you and the dread of you in everything that is on earth and in the sea. Don't this sound familiar? Did he not do the same with Adam when he first made him? Okay, let's keep going. Look, I have given you all beasts and all winged things and everything that moves on the earth and the fish in the waters and all things for food. As the green herbs, I have given you all things to eat. Y'all hear that? He's now changing what? The diet. Okay? You got to ask yourself why. Josephus give you the mystery on it. Let us keep going. But you shall not eat anything live or with blood in it, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, or your blood of your lives will be required at the hand of every man, and the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Whosoever, whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God he made man. So here's the proof where we know we're not to murder and we are not to commit cannibalism. Okay? That is the word of Yah. Again, to understand this, you're going to have to read Leviticus chapter 16 and Leviticus chapter 17. Because many don't understand what's in the blood. This is why you have the powers of darkness when they practice their sorcery and witchcraft, why they drink the blood, because they're trying to have eternal life or they're trying to gain the powers of that creature. But notice it's only for a short-term thing and they got to continue to do it. But it's forbidding to do that. Again, if you understand the mysteries, you will know all things come from the Spirit. Eternal life, youth, power, all these things come from the Spirit. What the wicked is doing, they want a quick way. Okay? Let us keep reading. All right? Again, look at what the Father is saying to us in verse 8. For man is made in what? His image. Okay? In other words, we don't have the right to take a life. You have to get authority and permission from the Creator because all His creation belongs to Him. All right, let's keep going. Increase and multiply on the earth. Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before YAHUAH Elohim forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. So what was that month he made a covenant? It was what? The third month, which is what? In Adam's day, it is Keslu. Keslu. Okay? Pay close attention. This is a covenant that is still ongoing. It has not been done away with, y'all. Whether you're an Israelite or whether you're a Gentile. Do you hear that, Christians? It applies to you. Read Romans chapter 1 and see what Paul say about you. He called them covenant breakers. Okay? So I want to read this part again. He made a covenant before YAHUAH Elohim forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. So it's the third month, which is what? Kaslu. Remember, the Atonement calendar is different from the Israelite calendar. Let us keep going. Because of this, he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Israel with an oath. So now the Father is speaking to Moshe now. In this month, on the mountain, you should sprinkle blood on them because all the words of the covenant which YAHUAH made with them forever. So what was the month that Moshe sprinkled blood upon them? Let us go to the book. Let us go to the book and the calendar. Make sure I'm going to check something out right quick. It is in Exodus chapter 24, and you will find it in verse 8. Verse 8. Exodus 24. Let me go back to our notes. It'll fall right in here. So we're going to make that one number 2. Number 1. And this comes from Jubilees, chapter 6, verse 11. Okay. As far as the book of Exodus, it'll really start with, I would say you need to start reading verse 1, going to verse 8. That's when they enter into the covenant. Okay. And that took place on Sivan, the 18th day, in the days of Moshe. See, that's the trick part. You got to remember what month fall in what year according to what forefather. So if it falls somewhere between Adam, before you get to Moshe, you're going to be following the Atonement calendar. Okay. If it deals with Moshe and the children of Israel up, you're going to be following the Israelite calendar. Very important to know. Okay, I figured out what was making that sound. It's actually the cord if I bump against it. Very important to know. So make sure you pay close attention, but as a mental note. So let us go back to the Bible. Let us go there because I want you to see it for yourself. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start reading at verse 3. Okay? And Moshe came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah has said, we will do. So this is the proof and confirmation that all of them knew about the feast days and when they were. Okay. They also knew about his commandments, especially the 10 commandments. That's why it's so important to read these chapters, chapter 19 all the way to chapter 24. Everything you see that's written between those 2 chapters of what the Father told Moshe, that's what he told the people. Okay? This is very important to know. You'll see why. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahuwah. Now, do you understand what peace offering is? If you don't, look at the playlist city on the Thanksgiving offering. We already talked about that mystery. Okay. Now, verse 6. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. You got to understand why Moshe did that. What did the blood do? It would cleanse you. It would atone you. It is to sanctify you, right? Which tie into the spiritual piece. The Messiah brought what? the promised gift, which is a Holy Spirit baptism. So when you understand the relationship between the three witnesses in the earth and the three witnesses in the heaven, you will see how you are sealed in the blood of the Lamb. For the spirit in the earth is Yahuwah. The water in the earth is tied to the living word, Yahusha HaMashiach. And the blood in the earth is tied to the Holy Spirit. Okay? Verse 7. Now here's the part you want to highlight. And he took the book of the covenant. See, Moshe wrote all this stuff down and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahuwah has said we would do and be obedient. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it upon the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah hath made with you concerning all these things. And that was the day when they entered into the covenant, when they entered into the marriage. And it was sealed with blood. The same thing that is the same as has a young man marrying a virgin. And the marriage is consummated what? In blood, signifying that they have now become one. The two will become one. Do y'all see the relationship now between the spiritual and the physical? Okay. So now that we have that confirmed in our notes, we know without a shadow of a doubt that on Sivan the 18th, in the days of Moshe now, this is the third month. I do need to put that here. Third month, which is Sivan the 18th. That is the day when they enter into the covenant. And that is the day when Moshe went into Mount Sinai for the 2 tablets of stones for 40 daylights and 40 nights. Okay? Now you see why we got to take our time and feast upon this living word. It can't be done any kind of way, y'all. Okay? Because I already know there's going to be some out there going to try to twist this. But the truth will stand against them. Okay? So now we have cleared this up with Moshe, because the reason why we got to set these dates right, because the following chapters, but with line upon line and precept upon precept, would confirm what is the correct date for what. Okay. Now we're going to our forefather Noah. So remember, his calendar days is going to be the opposite from Moshe. Okay. So that's what we're reading now. So let me take this off. So let us go back to verse 11. Okay. So the Father is speaking to Moshe. He said, because of this, he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Israel with an oath in this month. What's the month? Sivan. On the mountain, you should sprinkle blood on them, because all the words of the covenant which Yahuwah made with them forever. Okay, so this covenant is forever, y'all. Verse 12. This testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eat the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his offspring shall be rooted out of the land. Father didn't play. You are not to eat that blood. The blood is the life of the soul. Okay? That is a no-no. Verse 13. And you will command the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their offspring may be before Yahuwah, I Elohim, continually. There is no limit of days for this law. It is forever. Y'all hear that? This law is forever. Do you hear that? Israelites and Gentiles. This is forever. You are not to eat blood. Okay? They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar every day, and at the time of morning and evening. They shall seek forgiveness on your behalf. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put y'all on hold. Hold on. Okay, got that problem fixed. We're gonna keep on going. So we're gonna read this part. I'm gonna pick it up with here. Every day, and at the time of morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahuwah, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. Now we are beginning to understand why we offer the daily sacrifice, because he said what? Here, they shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Do y'all hear that? Blood has to be offered before the altar every day at the time of morning and evening. What is the sacrifice we offer every day at the time of morning and evening, y'all? It is the what? Daily sacrifice, also known as the continual burnt offering. Read Numbers chapter 28. Okay. He also says here, at that time of morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahuwah, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. So the spiritual offering that has taken place of this, because remember, Yahuwah ceased it in what month? In the 4th month, on the 17th day of the Israelite calendar. Read the work of Josephus. He put an end to that. He stirred up the Romans to put an end to that. And what took the spiritual place of that is the Lamb, who now would come back as the Lion. He is our daily sacrifice. He is our Passover. He is the drink offering because of his blood that he offered unto us. So now we are worshiping the Father in spirit and in truth as he prophesies unto us. For our praise, our songs, our hymn, our living our lives as a sacrifice, our offerings unto the Father now, until his kingdom to come. And when he bring his kingdom to come, we shall go back on what the Father established in the beginning. Oh yeah. Let us keep going, y'all. Now we go to the next page. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. I got to go back. So verse 15. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow, a rainbow, in the cloud as a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should never again be a flood on the earth to destroy it for all the days of the earth. You want to highlight that. This is the what? Eternal covenant. And the sign that he gave unto us, Adam, whether you are Israelite or Gentile, is a rainbow. To learn more about the rainbow besides the book of Genesis, read the Apocrypha in Ben Sirah, I believe it's chapter 43. Okay? As well as there's other precepts to that too as well. So he gave us the rainbow as a sign. You know this Father light, he always given a sign either through his lights or through other types of signs. Okay? For what? The eternal covenant. And this eternal covenant is to remind us that he would never flood the earth. But within this covenant, he required us not to eat the blood. And to the children of Israel, he required them to offer him the daily sacrifice. To a what? To atone for the earth's sins. Oh, y'all, we getting some deep stuff. Do y'all see this? It's getting good. All right, let us keep going. Verse 17. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And this is another verse you want to highlight here. It's on the heavenly tablets. Okay, so it's written in the records of heavens that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. Now, this is why we did the other videos. Because the way this is written, remember, Moshe is on the mountain for what? 40 daylights and 40 nights. Unfortunately, with this particular chapter, because we're in chapter 6 now, we don't know what day that this fell on when our Father was speaking this unto Moshe. So I can see how, everybody would think it would fall in the third month because of the way this is written. But when you go back to Torah and you look at the scriptures, okay, and you look at the formula of how to count for Shavuot, Pentecost, and you look at what the Messiah says, you will know what month we should keep this. Okay? But notice here, this is the word that I was looking for. He said, for this reason, it is written on the heavenly tablets that we should celebrate the Feast of Weeks. So this was the original name of this feast. And you're going to see why I'm homing in on to it. Because we're never going to go to verse 18. This whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation. You want to underline that. So they were celebrating this festival in heaven from the day of creation. That's where it began, y'all. This is the origins of Shavuot. Okay? So we celebrate in heaven from the day of creation until the days of Noah, which were 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years, until the day of Noah's death. From the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it. So there was a time where this covenant was not kept. Shavuot was not kept, y'all, in the days of Noah. What month in the days of Noah did they keep this? In the third month, Caslu. Okay? So once Noah died, his sons did away with it. However, when you read the sacred books, you will learn there was always a righteous seed, okay, who carried it on. Okay? So his sons did away with keeping the feasts of weeks right here. Okay? So the sons did away with it. So you had a time where this wasn't kept until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. Do y'all see what's going on here? Think about it. The flood came. Why? It was judgment. To what? Bring what? The new beginning. To give what? Adam, mankind, which are Noah and his sons, a fresh start now. But now we're seeing what? They are going back to their ways. Something that the Father wants me to share with you before I read the last verse here, and this is where we're going to pause. Okay? Before I read verse 19, what I want to reveal to you is what was written in Genesis. It's in chapter 8. Look what the Father said about mankind. And it relates to what Solomon says, right? There's nothing new beneath the sun. What was done in the past is still being done now. We're going to go to verse 21. Because we already got the history of how he built the ark and what he offered unto Yah. How he built the altar and the sacrifices that Noah offered unto him. So verse 21. And Yahuwah smelled a sweet savor. And Yahuwah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for Adam's sake. For the imaginations of man's heart is evil from his youth. You need to underline that, because that is what has not changed. Okay? The imaginations of man's heart is evil from his youth. You got to understand what took place in that fall. You got to understand what the tree of good and evil brought within you. Do you understand what Paul writers are saying? That there is a battle within you. You desire to do good, but you end up doing evil. Because what was passed down from that transgression. Okay? So for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I against smite any more everything living as I have done. You want to highlight that verse. I'm in Genesis chapter 8, verse 21. Okay? Let's get this verse and add it to our notes. Let's see here. I will put that here. Okay? So we have in our notes. Okay? So take this out. Then we're going back to verse 19 to close it out for this part. Verse 19, but Abraham observed it. So Noah kept it until he died. Then no one kept it for a while. Then Abraham picked it back up. So Abraham observed it, and Isaac, and Jacob, and his children. How many sons did he have? 12. Then Joseph had what? 2. So they kept it. Observe it up to your, and his children, observe it up to your days. And in your days, the children of Israel forgot it until you celebrate it anew on this mountain. You want to highlight that. Father is saying unto Moses, he's giving him the history of Shavuot. He also gave him what Shavuot is. It's dealing with the covenant that he made with us, that he would not destroy the earth with flood, and that we are not to eat the blood. Go back in chapter 6 and look at all the things that fell in that covenant that we are supposed to honor and keep. Okay? So Abraham observed it, Isaac, Jacob, and his children observed it until we got to the days of Moses and the children of Israel. They forgot it. Why? They were in Egypt. And because they was in Egypt for so long, they forgot the ways of their forefathers as the ancient ones died out. And then they began to take on the ways of the heathen. You can see that. You can see the things they did in the wilderness, such as the making of the calf, the lusting of certain types of foods, the murmuring and complaining, the strifes they had with the leaders, such as with Moshe and Aaron. So you can see they had a lot of heathen ways on them. This is why Joshua, when he circumcised those children who had came up in age, when he circumcised them, what did the verse say? He had to remove the reproach of Egypt for them. That was a physical sign to let you know that the reason why that generation had to die out, because they could not graduate. Their mindset was stuck as being an Egyptian. Their mindset was stuck as to serve other gods, and not having the faith nor the belief in the power that was following them. So when I read this verse, y'all, I'm showing y'all the same steps that the Father had me to go through. When I read this verse, I said I have to pause here, and I'm going to have to search out Abraham in the works, in the book of Jubilees and the Bible and whatever other books, okay, and see what was given to him dealing with Shavuot. And this is where we'll pause here, and we will come back to talk about Abraham, because now we're going to get the breakdown of the 3rd month and the 4th month. And through this, we're going to get the history of the origins of the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Sukkot, because we're going to learn that it started first with our forefather Abraham. It started with him. That's why we're keeping tabernacles. I know, getting interesting, right? Very interesting. So you will have access to this handout already. Like I said, there's a lot of things I include in a chart, but I'm going to have to walk it with you step by step so you can understand why I wrote what I wrote and why I put what I put. But I will give you this ultimate mystery. A week has to pass before his judgment can come. A week has to pass before his judgment can come. And when his judgment comes, it shall bring what? Eternity. It shall bring the anew. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Are you connecting it yet? If not, we'll go over it. Again, a week must pass in order for his judgment to come. And when his judgment comes, it shall bring the anew, the eternal kingdom. And what we discuss in this chart here, all these things gonna come with it. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Look forward to the next part, dealing with Abraham. Okay? All right, my brothers and sisters, continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand, for we see the signs that's written in heaven and earth. We see it. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize the people in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism, the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostles continued them both. You have no one to baptize you. Guess what? You can do it yourself. Exercise your faith with works. For the heavens and the earth and the water are a witness unto him, and they can report back unto him of those who have entered into the covenant, into the renewed marriage. And the Father also made it easy with the Holy Spirit baptism. What he say through his living word. All you have to do is ask him in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, and he shall give it unto you according to your heart, your faith, and your works. Love you all, and shalom.